has only been a few months into 2026, but financial markets have already been crazy. It's such a wild ride. It has been probably the most volatile since the March 2020 COVID-19 pandemic. So what is happening to markets and what can we do to prepare? Now, it has almost everything to do with geopolitics, which caused a lot of global uncertainty. Ever since Trump took office, there has been a lot of new regimes and systems and policies in place, a lot of reforms, and people are not so sure where the economy is headed and how it will impact the world as a whole. So since Trump have imposed tariffs against a lot of countries in the world since April 2025. At that time, a lot of companies also faced a huge decline in their stock prices because people thought tariffs would lead to, lower demand for the goods and services, which would hurt company earnings. But ever since then, stock prices have rebounded for the major companies. And then recently we have had a lot of other geopolitical scares as well. Venezuelan president got captured by the Trump's administration, and Donald Trump also recently threatened Europe that it wants to take over Greenland. If not, it will impose 25% import tax. Now, why does Donald Trump want Greenland? Because Greenland has a lot of rare earth minerals that can be used for defense technology. And Greenland also has a strategic location that can serve as the U.S. national military base, especially since it is fighting against China and Russia. So a lot of this has to do with the national security interests. And other than that, there are also fears that U.S. will strike Iran, and then we will have a World War III, nuclear fears here and there. So really it has been such a volatile period. Nobody knows what's going to happen and what news headline we will see tomorrow. Now, if we look at the different types of assets in financial markets, gold has been one of the best performers. In 2025 alone, it surged by about 66% within a year, its best performance in decades. Gold even beat the US stock market and also cryptocurrencies. So why are people suddenly buying gold in large amounts, driving up its price? First, is because of global uncertainty. Now, gold has always been seen as a safe haven asset, which is defensive. So when people are uncertain of what is going to happen across markets, then they will sell other risky assets like stocks and cryptocurrencies, and money will flow into gold, which is more defensive in nature. And even in inflationary environments, gold will still hold its value and can also increase in value. Now, the second reason is de-dollarization. Central banks across the world, especially in emerging nations, have been trying to diversify away from the dollar. So instead of buying US treasuries, they are buying gold instead. And if you look at China has been aggressively stockpiling gold since 2022. And as of early 2026, it has more than 2,300 tons of gold in its national reserves. And if you look at the percentage of gold among its natural reserves, it is more than 8% already, and it is going to increase even more as it buys more gold to diversify away from the dollar. Now, why are countries choosing gold over the dollar? Because they want to be more independent and less influenced by US policies, and they also want to uphold their own national sovereignty, and it's also for national security interests. So because countries are choosing gold over US treasuries, the demand for US dollar has fallen, and so the US dollar has also been declining in value. And it is not only until recently that the US dollar started rising in value that gold started crashing from its peak of close to 5,500 US dollars per ounce. And for silver, it's even crazier. Silver's price rose by more than 140% in 2025, more than double the gain in gold price. So why did silver rally so hard? It's because it is being used in a lot of industrial applications, including electronics and solar technology. And other than that, the main factor would probably be that China imposed export controls on refined silver. But recently, because the US dollar started increasing again, silver also crashed by more than 40% from its peak. Now, what about the US stock market? The S&P 500 recorded a gain of 18% in 2025, while cryptocurrency Bitcoin, the king, recorded a decline of 6% for 2025. Now, it's just been a few weeks into February, and we have already seen gold price crashing, silver price crashing, software stock prices crashing, and crypto has also crashed to a low. Now, crypto, if you look at Bitcoin alone, it has crashed by about 50% since its all-time high of $126,000 reached in October 2025. Its low was about close to 60,000. So what is happening to all these assets? Why is everything seem to drop at once? So this could be linked to Trump's decision to appoint Kevin Walsh as the Federal Reserve Chairman. Now, Trump wants interest rates in US to be lower because this can lower the value of the US dollar, which can boost its exports. And also, a lower US dollar will also reduce the value of the US national debt in real terms. Now, Kevin Walsh has been someone that is against the use of quantitative easing. So quantitative easing is used by central banks to inject liquidity, aka money and capital, into the banking system and into the economy. So if that doesn't happen, then interest rates will stay high. And if interest rates stay high, then the US dollar will go higher as well. So that is why when the US dollar rises, people start dumping gold, silver, stocks, crypto, and buy the US dollar instead, because US treasuries, US debt securities will be offering higher interest rates. So this will be seen as lower risk compared to riskier investments like stocks and Bitcoin. Now, we all know that Bitcoin is created in 2009 by this mysterious person called Satoshi Nakamoto, but whether the real inventor is a Japanese or not remains a question. But now, all these emails are surfacing saying that Jeffrey Epstein is the brainchild behind Bitcoin. So if you're investing in Bitcoin, you may just be investing in a criminal's project. So should we be worrying about, the potential of cryptocurrency now just because it is linked to a criminal? Well, not necessarily, because the US government holds Bitcoin in its portfolio. Donald Trump is a huge supporter of Bitcoin. And even the new Federal Reserve Chairman, Kevin Walsh, also holds Bitcoin in his own investment portfolio. And if you look at universities like Harvard University, they also hold Bitcoin in their own portfolio. So if all these institutions still hold Bitcoin, there is still demand for it, unless everyone decides to sell Bitcoin all of a sudden because of some crazy news coming out or, panic across the world. So now that we have seen all asset prices seeming to plunge dramatically over just a few days ever since all this news came out, what should you do if you hold any of gold, stocks, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies? Should you be selling right now? Or should you be looking to buy more? Or just hold on to your current holdings and keep calm? Now, what I think is that the market always overreacts. When the news come out, the market always just panic and then start selling, and then as a few people start selling, the rest will also be affected, and then we have, the herd effect coming into play. One person sell, the other person also sell, and this creates, worldwide panic and fear across markets. So everyone starts selling at once, and that's why we have dramatic crashes. It's because of herd mentality, and it's also because of cascading liquidations. So looking at markets, this is always often a one-off event. If you look at the pandemic, everyone thought markets will be over, the economy is a gone case. But look at what happened next. Stocks and cryptocurrency still record huge double, triple-digit gains within a year after the pandemic started. And if you look at the tariff threats in 2025, even though a lot of stocks, they face price pressures at first when the tariff threats are being announced, but afterwards, their stock prices still recover. So the market will always have something going on, no matter what. There will always be new news, whether positive or negative. And if we look into 2026, Will things get better? I'm not sure. Things will probably get even more crazier because of all this geopolitical uncertainty and war threats. We don't know if US will be striking the Middle East anytime soon. You know, Baba Vanga, the psychic which predicted a lot of worldwide events, she did say 2026 is probably the year that the World War III will start. Now this is scary because she predicted events like 9/11 and also Princess Diana's death. And she got these predictions really accurately. So whether this World War III prediction will come into play this year, I'm not sure. We're still yet to see. But always be prepared. So yes, you can still hold on to your current investments and not panic sell, but you must have a plan to diversify. Like, don't dump everything into crypto. Don't dump everything into, risky technology stocks. Even if, stocks may plunge, but perhaps gold will be rising. Or you have crypto crashing, but you're holding on to real estate and cash, which are safer. And always keep cash by your side, because when real market crashes happen, cash could just be your best asset. And you can use the cash to pick up assets at a discount. So I will always think to look at, market crashes as a sale. People like shopping sprees. They see something on discount to get very excited. Now this, in financial markets, crashes would be your sale time. So always keep some cash on hand so that when people are panic selling, you can be the one that actually buy the valuable assets from them. So yep, a lot of people are very unsure and fearful about how markets will play out in 2026. But always know that the market will eventually recover. And you just need to be well diversified and also keep cash on the sidelines so that you will never be caught, without anything else to hold on to for protection. So much things have been going on in financial markets that it's really hard to keeping track of the news and events that are occurring. So I'm planning to be more active on my YouTube channel now, to share more of these news and geopolitical events and financial market commentaries with my viewers, and also probably share about how I would actually build a portfolio that can last for the longer term. So if you're excited to learn more about financial markets, you want to understand more of how economies work and what you should be paying attention to, and if retiring early by investing is one of your goals, then be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow, and give a like, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you.